Okay, let's do this thing. NXT. What do we got going on for NXT tonight for this review, huh? Well, I guess for all these changes allegedly right now, did NXT really look any different? Not really, I would say, but some good stuff though at the same time. We kicked it off with a fatal four-way elimination women's tag team title match to now crown new tag team champions since the titles are vacant, which was Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, Valencia Faraz and Luisa Leon, Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley, and Toxic Attraction of Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. A good way to kick off the show as they were going to crown new tag champions. Like I said, it was an elimination match. So Faraz and Leon were eliminated first. They're not bad out there, but like I said, they were the first ones out. Right after that was Paxley and Ivy. In the end, it was going to be Toxic Attraction and Casey and Caden, which I figured they were going to be the final two going on into this match. Very enjoyable tag team match, though. I liked it. End up with Casey and Caden finally getting the tag titles, beating Toxic Attraction. They tried to make sure they didn't make the same mistake like they did back at the In Your House show. Basically, they hit their finisher, like the 450 into like a DDT combo onto JC Jane. So yes, Casey and Caden finally became the tag team champions. It's about time they done that. I'm sure everybody's been saying that for a good long while now, since they are probably one of the only legitimate tag teams on NXT right now besides Toxic Attraction, because I thought they should have had the belts a while ago now, and I'm glad they were the ones that actually beat them. I know they were vacant, but they were still able to beat them for the tag team titles. So good win right there. Next thing you know, they went to Mackenzie Mitchell interviewing Briggs and Jensen. Talk about the UK tag titles, and talked about who you got to defend their titles next. And they said, I haven't had my first yet. Well, we saw where that joke was going. Joe Gacy and crew. I can't call them GYV anymore. They're new names, dyads and stuff now. Basically, you call them Brooks Jensen. You're a second generation wrestler and everything, and basically talk about how Cameron Grimes didn't have the same privilege like you did as a father and whatnot, because he said his father was a journeyman, and basically they said it's gonna be a match later on with Jensen and Gacy, so that was gonna go down. Carmelo and Trick were out there then. I believe the fans were singing happy birthday during that talk segment, by the way, so it was happy birthday to Carmelo Hayes. I knew it was somebody singing in the background, but next thing you know, Trick talked about him. Mello, they taking on anybody right now. It's Carmelo's birthday, and so they're gonna have an open challenge with his title right now. Giovanni Vinci came out to face him, and he's doing his whole photo thing he was doing, but you see Nathan Frazier run into the ring, which Frazier ended up getting there first, just dodging Vinci, getting to the ring. So it's gonna be Carmelo and Frazier for the title. Then Vinci stayed on commentary though. Stayed on commentary to watch the match. Good match though. I will say that. Frazier, they've been pushing pretty well. They want to push him big. Mello still looks strong out there. Ended up with Eichner, Vinci basically knocking Frazier off the top rope. And so Mello can hit his finisher for the win, still retaining North American title and whatnot. So Frazier probably will get a match with Vinci or Fabian Eichner, whatever you want to call him, by next week. So we'll see what goes on from there. But yeah, Mello got the win. Next was a contract signing between Braun Breaker and Jordan Devlin. Wade Barrett was out there to be the moderator, as basically Devlin basically talked about Breaker, that your fire may be a source of fear to your opponents, but it's not going to work on him. Basically he's going to stomp out that fire, and he says, I don't see your muscles as a magazine cover. It's read as a blueprint, okay? And he's going to rip every muscle apart, and bone by bone and whatnot, until he becomes the new champion. Breaker says he knows how he's going to deal with JD right there. He says, I know you've done a lot in the UK. You did hold the cruiserweight title, over a year and whatnot. But Breaker says, you talk about guys from Ziggler, Ciampa, and Walter and whatnot, and said that Devlin there may be the smartest wrestler he's ever faced and whatnot. Because Breaker basically said, you're trying to attack my mind and everything, but it's not going to work, because when his title is on the line, he's an animal. And he say no that Devlin there likes pain, and it's going to be a lot of pain he's going to have at Heat Wave and whatnot. But basically, we will see what happens. You believe everything that's coming out of your mouth, but it's not going to work. He welcomes it. So Breakker didn't sign the contract first, but JD didn't sign the contract. He just stabbed his own hand and just wrote it in blood and whatnot to sign the contract in before handing it back. I guess he wanted to shake his hand, but Breakker just ended up holding up the title. So we'll see what happens at Heat Wave with both of these two. But JD there, Devlin basically just wanted to be more psychological and focusing on body parts, being very methodical in his promos, basically how he's going to systematically take down Braun Breakker by destroying his body until he can get beat him for the title and whatnot. So we'll see what happens from there. But not a bad contract signing segment though. The Creed brothers were in the back, I guess, getting ready for a match, sparring. Apollo Crews ended up walking in the back then, basically wishing them good luck and everything later on. Kemp came in, basically telling them that Roddy is going to be late and stuff, because they wonder where Roddy Strong was at. So Kemp basically showed him he's going to be running late. So I guess they will probably see him later in the show. Dolan and Jane were pissed off about the tag team match. Mandy Rose didn't like what was going on either, but basically they told Mandy to get ready for your match right now, which was going to be against Saray. Mandy ended up getting the win over Saray, hitting with her running knee, and then right after, basically was getting a chair, getting payback after what Saray did to her nose, if you remember, with that hesitation drop kick before, the whole toxic attraction thing began and whatnot. They did, Mandy Rose was down there, then she got drop kicked in the face with the whole nose thing until she got, new hair color and came back as toxic attraction Mandy Rose, okay? But Zoe Stark came out then, basically going after Mandy. Stark stood on the ring. You can see her knee or leg. I was sick of the ACL injury, I guess, but you saw her kind of limp into the ring here and there, so don't know if that's going to mean anything, but we'll see. Tiffany Stratton had a promo basically talking about her gymnastics routine, and that Wendy Chu is a loser, so we'll see what goes on with that. Exxon, A-Kid, talk about comics and textbooks, and, he's excited to be in NXT, and, could have been more perfect. Hudson basically said, you don't belong here and everything, it's anyone's ball games. There's a lot of changes happening in NXT and whatnot, and he feels like Axon is undeserving and everything, and that he's bigger than him, and basically say, good for you, you're a nerd and everything, and Axon slapped him. Both of them ended up brawling all the way to the outside, which Hudson did, was beating him up and says, that's why you don't believe in your heroes. But Axion says, bring it on, I can take you on right now. Which Axion ended up getting a win over Hudson, A-Kid. So basically, some would say, a quick win for Axion, getting the upper hand over the bigger guy, being the underdog and whatnot. Hudson takes a lot of, L's out here in general, but I don't know why they changed A-Kid to Axion, especially being like he's a luchador superhero mathematician for some reason. I don't understand where they're going with that. Hudson, he just continues to take a lot of L's. Dez was in the back wearing a Muhammad Ali shirt. Talk about Trick Williams, basically thinking he's the second coming of Muhammad Ali, and he's not. They showed two pictures and everything of them, and basically he challenged Trick Williams to a UK style rounds match. I don't know how the UK matches really work. I don't watch NXT UK like that, so I guess there's rounds in the match apparently. I don't know how really that goes, but it's supposedly rounds in that match, so I'm not really sure how that works all the way. The Creed brothers went against Tony D'Angelo and Stax for the NXT tag titles. You had the whole family, I guess, Elektra Lopez and Mendoza and DJZ out there watching on. Good tag team match, but when Elektra Lopez brought in a crowbar, Tony tried to grab it and pull it with him, but it would end up being Santos Escobar returning back, which, ended up punching D'Angelo with some brass knuckles in, and, one of the Creed brothers, I believe, ended up doing like that basement lariat for the win. So Creed brothers still retain the tag team titles then after that. But Santos Escobar being back now, like I said, I guess Legado was all back together again. So, Tony was pissed off after that. I guess Tony was pissed off. I guess still kind of wanting payback now, since Escobar is back. Roxy had a promo talking about Cora Jade. Talked about how they were the best of friends and that they came into this company together, and they always wanted to see each other succeed. But Cora Jade betrayed her and wanted to call her a selfish bitch, and that their friendship is over now. And you want to throw the tag team titles in the trash can, and so they're gonna sell this a heat wave, which they end up going to Cora Jade holding the metal pipe. Then everybody says I'm the bad guy out of all this thing, but I'm not. Everyone's talking about me. They're talking about Bailey. They're talking about Roman. That's what they're talking about. And she didn't want to accept the challenge. But Mandy Rose says, I can help you take care of this. How about this? You take on Zoe Stark. I take on Roxy. We can get take care of both these problems, and you can get a title shot at Heat Wave then. So think about that. And whatnot. So interesting to have Mandy Rose come and offer help to Cora Jade then. Right after, though, they end up interviewing Caden and Casey. Talk about they're the new tag team champions and whatnot, that they've been to hell and back. And, now, you could, the fans never gave up on them. You can call them champions now. Brooks Jensen went against Joe Gacy. Not much I could see from this match. Not much from this match, I should say. Basically, throughout this match, it wasn't bad. Pretty deadly end up coming out there then, basically, taking out Briggs and Jensen, which Gacy ended up getting his finisher onto Jensen then winning the match. So, it was kind of whatever. And I guess it'll probably be a rematch for those UK tag team titles, I guess, coming up against Pretty Deadly again. So we'll see what happens. But Joe Gacy cut a promo on Cameron Grime, saying, if he can fill in as his father figure and whatnot. So they went to some guy saying, like, I think he's talking about you, Grime. So there you go. Tony D'Angelo was pissed in the back until Santos Escobar ended up calling him up, saying, we need to end this. We'll never get along. There can only be one family around. So we're going to sell this one-on-one anytime, any place, wherever it's going to be. We're not sure where it's going to be, but they agreed to it. So, Tony said he knows the perfect place. Alba Fire went against Lash Legend. And I know a lot of this was during commercial, the picture-in-picture thing. Alba Fire, Kaylee Ray, she ended up getting the win with the big Swanton Bomb and whatnot. Match was not bad. At least Lash Legend is still very green out there. She's trying, but still green. But, Kaylee Ray made that work. Carmelo and Trick was leaving the building in, talking about the match for next week, until they just ran into these random girls that looked like that one had car trouble and asked if they could fix it. So, yeah, hot girls waiting out there with a car broken looking for help. Sounds like a trap. Just randomly in the parking lot. Okay. But in the main event, we did have Solo Sikoa versus Von Wagner in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And whatnot. Very good match, I should say. I did like this Falls Count Anywhere. It did go all over the place, I will say that, because they ended up going to the parking lot, which they did go to Trick and Mello, who they were still trying to hit on these girls out there while fixing the car. Solo basically muffed Mello in his face, like, get your ass out of here, man, and knocking him into the car then. And then, Von Wagner throwing Mello into a trash can, which I don't know why they had WWE logo on the trash can, but they threw him in there saying they're dumb, but Solo got out of the trash can then. They fall back into the building where Cameron Grimes was walking out the door, but he ended up getting pushed back in the building then. Wagner put Sikoa through a table, but, still kicked out too. They ended up getting back to the ring then. Solo started beating the hell out of Wagner with a steel chair after that. And even hit like a big rock bomb onto the steel steps then right after. Wagner still getting up. Robert Stone out there, grabbing Solo's leg to stop him and everything. He going up to the top rope, but Solo headbutted him in after that, which, Wagner got him in. But Sikoa ended up pushing him to the ring post outside. Hit him with some super kicks, put him onto the announce table then, and then get into the top row, hitting a big Uso splash, and crawling to get to him and pinning him and Solo ended up winning the match then. So I enjoyed this Falls Count Anywhere match. Not bad out there. I thought it was pretty brutal. Crazy how they just kept running to random people, knocking them down, throughout the match from Mello and Trick. And, Grimes was trying to get out the building, so getting knocked back in the building. So a lot of crazy stuff going on in this match. As for the NXT show itself, not bad. More in-ring stuff, I will say, tonight. A lot more in-ring heavy than usual for NXT. So yeah. Other than that, though, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodandKnight890. I'll see you guys then. Peace out.